What's going on YouTube, it's Jason, and today we're going to discuss 5 muscle building mistakes you're probably making that are killing your gains. Now it doesn't matter whether you want to build more muscle mass or you're someone who just wants to be more toned, the principles of muscle building apply to both. In my experience as a coach, it's often because of these mistakes that people either don't make progress or their gains plateau. But by avoiding these 5 mistakes, I can help you get back on track, help you build muscle faster and build it more efficiently. The first mistake I see so many people make, and to be honest, I made this myself, is chasing strength gains rather than muscle gains. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, Jason, that doesn't make sense. I thought a bigger muscle was a stronger muscle. Yes, that's true, but let me explain more. With strength, your primary concern is increasing the amount of force that your muscles produce. With hypertrophy or building muscle, the primary concern is increasing the volume that you're doing over time, i.e. the number of sets and the number of reps. So volume is a necessary component of muscle size, but not so with muscle strength, i.e. you can produce more force without the volume and you can get stronger. You cannot produce more muscle size without increasing your volume. Now, people often mistake this increased volume requirement for being weightlifted. It can be weightlifted, but it can also be more sets, more reps, or more time under tension, i.e. the time that you spend actually performing the exercise. I'll discuss these things in greater depth on a separate video discussing progressive overload, but for now, just think about volume increase as being more than one thing. So if a person is training for strength, they'll typically be lifting 80 to 90% of their 1 rep max for 1 to 5 reps. However, if you're training for hypertrophy or muscle size, you're looking for between 60 and 70% of your 1 rep max for 6 to 12 reps. So if your goal is to build more muscle, stop focusing on getting strong. Who cares what you bench? You're not a power lifter. If you want to build more muscle, work on increasing your volume, so number of sets, number of reps, and time under tension. And so long as your form is correct, the weight that you lift will increase over time. The second mistake I see people make is not committing to a goal. It seems like everybody out there always wants to be a bit leaner and also be more muscular or more defined. But to do those two things efficiently, you need to commit to one goal at a time. Otherwise, for most people, unless you are really obese, you're going to be spinning your wheels. Think about it. To build muscle efficiently, you need to increase your calories above maintenance. To lose body fat efficiently, you need to reduce your calories below maintenance. If you're trying to do both at the same time, your gains are going to be painfully slow. So you'll build less muscle than the person in a surplus, and you'll lose less fat than the person in a deficit. So you may as well commit to one because your motivation is linked to your progress. Just accept that for the vast majority of us, when you're building muscle, you're not losing fat. And when you're losing fat, most of us aren't building muscle. And if you happen to do both at the same time, great, but it won't be efficient. Point number 3, I kind of mentioned in point number 2, but it deserves its own separate point, and that is not eating enough and trying to stay too lean. This is a huge mistake. People think about that cover model or movie star look, and they want to have those chiseled abs year round, which is fair enough, but for a lot of people, they will do that at the expense of their gains. Now, I'm a big fan of staying lean year round. I've always said this. You will never see me at a stage where I can't take my top off or I've gained too much body fat. But that doesn't mean I stay at the same body fat all year. I stay in a lean range. So typically when I'm at my leanest, I would normally be around 9 or 10% body fat, probably more like 10. And when I'm at my heaviest, when I'm bulking, I'd be more like 15%. Now, of course, 10 and 15% body fat are both lean, so you would still see your abs. But my abs would be more blurry at 15% than it would be at 10%. But if I want to build muscle, I need to be okay with that. If you want to build muscle as fast as possible, we need to create an anabolic environment. That means keeping testosterone as high as possible. The way you do this is by increasing your calories. So if you want to build more muscle, make sure you're eating enough. So 1 to 400 calories over your maintenance. And make sure you're getting enough protein. So at least 1.6 to 2.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Number 4, if you want to build more muscle, frequency matters. That means stop training bro splits. By bro splits, I mean doing something like chest on a Monday, back on a Tuesday, and legs on a Wednesday. Now, a lot of these workouts are made popular by Men's Health and other bodybuilding magazines, but truth be told, a lot of those people recommending those workouts are on steroids, and steroids increases your muscle protein synthesis, so you can afford to train a muscle group once. When you are natural, you need to increase your muscle protein synthesis by frequency of training. Essentially, breaking down a muscle group more frequently in a week would produce greater results. So to give a practical example, if somebody was going to do chest or legs on a Monday, and let's say they were going to do 16 sets, they'd be better off doing 8 sets on a Monday and doing it again on a Thursday, another 8 sets. Yes, that would be the same total of 16 sets, but it would be 2 bouts of protein synthesis versus 1. And the final point, which is relatively simple, but you'll be surprised how many people get this wrong, is doing their cardio before weights. Now, most people go into the gym, they'll do 20 to 30 minutes of cardio and then do their weights. And they may not realize it, but their weightlifting is going to suffer. Don't forget, your energy comes from the same place. So if you spend it all doing cardio, you can only give what's left to your weight training. So to avoid this, you can do one of 2 things. Either do your weight training first and do your cardio immediately after if you don't have the time, or try and separate your weight training and cardio by 6 to 8 hours. By doing this, you will avoid what's called the interference effect. So essentially, if muscle building is your goal, prioritize your weight training. So that's it. Avoid these 5 common mistakes and you will build muscle faster and more efficiently. Hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to like it. Comment below for the algorithm. Let me know which mistakes you've made in the past. Please subscribe and I'll see you again soon.